Okay. Morning. Meeting come to order, and I say welcome to the State Ethics Commission. Today's the 20th of September, and the time is 9:02. Let's first have a roll call. Oh, just administrative announcements. Turn off your cell phone, and if you want to be recognized, please raise your right hand, and I will recognize you so you can speak. I think we have Beverly's on there. Beverly, are you there?
I'm here, but I'm trying really hard. Had a messy morning already.
That's okay. That's okay. We got you on board. Thanks. Let's do a roll call for quorum, and if you are alone, please indicate you are alone.
Starting with Vice Chair McCarthy.
I am here alone.
Thank you. Commissioner Tobias.
I am here and alone.
I noted that Commissioner Thielen and Chair Fong are present in the public hearing room.
For the staff.
So turning to staff,
Here and alone.
Nancy,
Here and alone.
Bonita,
Present and alone.
Jennifer,
Here and alone.
Jared.
President alone.
Thank you.
Does anybody in the public like to be recognized as being present? I know we do have a couple of individuals. Anybody? I see some smiling faces, which I know are not part of the commission. Anybody want to identify themselves?
Hi, this is Lori Wong. I'm the Assistant Executive Director and Legal Counsel over at the Honolulu Ethics Commission, but I'm here in my personal capacity. So I'm not speaking, anything that I say, I'm not speaking like for the commission, it's just me personally.
Well, good, and welcome to our meeting. And again, congratulations on a job well done for our ethics conference. Everybody wants to do it again on the state's dime. Okay, moving right along. Consideration and approval of the minutes of August 16th, 2023. Any corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the minutes of August 16th, 2023.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Thielen and seconded by Commissioner Tobias. Any discussion? All in favor? Can we raise our hand?
I've got to roll call.
Well, we got to do a vote. So roll call.
Starting with Vice Chair McCarthy.
Aye.
Commissioner Tobias.
Aye.
Commissioner Thielen.
Aye.
Chair.
I vote aye. No objections. Motion's carried. Next on the agenda is, well, first of all, anybody from the outside want to speak on the minutes? No, okay. Director's report, education and training report, etc.
Turn the first section over to Benita, then the second section will go to Keith.
Okay.
Generally for, as we mentioned to the commission, we've been doing increased outreach to get the word out for the December 31st deadline for the mandatory training law for state employees, board members, initial training requirement. So we've been working to get that information out to our agency contacts and just kind of papering all the different outlets that we have to get outreach and increase that awareness about that requirement that's coming up. I think we've been doing a really good job overall, but we're trying to just, ensure that we have the highest percentage of compliance by the end of the year for the initial requirements. We're also asking agencies and board contacts to provide us with data as to what percentage of completion that they have on their end, so that we have a little bit more visibility as to percentage of completion. The personnel information is particularly helpful because the HR have the personnel list so that we can basically identify how many of their employees have taken it, same with the board. So hopefully we'll have that information and we can present it at the next meeting in October.
Oh,
That's-
I guess any questions? I have a comment. Actually, during the conference that we had, I sensed that a lot of the counties are very impressed by our educational outreach. And maybe if we can, reach out and say, do you need any help or suggestions? We're not gonna tell them what to do. But I think it would really help them because I don't know if they even have an educational program. They're having a hard enough time with getting staff. I'm not talking about the Honolulu. They got a lot of money. Yeah. So I would make that recommendation, Robert, maybe just reach out to them and help them because, they found the conference very, very beneficial. Thank you, Benita.
Sure, no problem. That's a good idea.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Cynthia.
Here we
Yes.
are, that's who.
My peripheral vision is kind of.
Here, I was looking at the list of the percentage of members that have taken the tests, the educational training. And there are a couple of them with a 0. And I'm sorry, I should have written down precisely, but I thought one was a rail board, which would, and I'm wondering if staff could not go through, take a look at where there's a very low percentage of those that have done the ethics training and reach out to them to kind of say, here, this is a responsibility, you should be doing it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the rail board. I know we have a couple of what they're called OMPO boards, Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization. So there's a number of different smaller boards that may have differing turnovers in their board administrators. So we definitely have those contacts on our list. And as we get the data, and if we're missing information, we'll reach out to them, or we're seeing low points, we still have time, right, with the 3 months remaining of the year to say, hey, let's help. How can we help you increase your numbers? And so I think that is the approach that we're going to take to try to increase all across the board, both the agency side and the board side. There's about 125 boards that we're working with that are filing boards that we have contact with. And for, I think, agencies, we have about 25 or so contacts. So we've already pushed out one set of reminders, and so we're going to be following up with them during the remainder of the 3 months. I think we have a good cushion right before we hit the December 31st deadline. So we should be seeing a spike on the live training as well as the self-directed one.
May I continue with that?
Oh, yes, go ahead. Please.
Possibly, if you reach out to the ones that have a very low percentage of participation, and then maybe by next meeting, let us know what the results are of that reminder to them to see
Yes.
whether there needs to be more done on that.
Right. So I'm hoping to be able to get that information. We've set a deadline in time for the next commission meeting, and I can then summarize the information with my nice handy dandy charts and graphics. So
Look for the ones where I believe there were 0 on a couple of them, and they were kind of startling. And there may be a reason for that, but maybe changes in the board composition. But it surprised me. So let's go through and take a look at those real low numbers, contact them, and then let us know what the results were next meeting. Thank you.
Got that,
Thank you.
Benita? And I
Yes.
thank Commissioner Thielen for actually reviewing the statistics in regard to education. Thank you. Any other comments, any questions?
Chair, if I can emphasize, first, just before I get too far into it, I want to note that we did not acknowledge Patrick as being participating and being on and being alone. He is helping on the IT side, but for the purposes of the minutes, he's here. Second, I do just want to highlight again that we had over 13,000 people take directed online training in August, which is a record. It's off the charts number of the state employees going through the training in August in particular. And I think, just to give you kind of scope, I think that more people have taken the training any year outside of last year. Historically, if you look at every year, more people took it in 1 month than we've had historically any other year. So it is a big accomplishment. I recognized this last time that we've had a lot of people going through it, but we really are getting a massive number of people going through the training, which is an impact on staff regards having to issue certificates, questions, requirement or not, the influx. And so just from a capacity perspective, recognizing that we didn't get any additional funding, we haven't hired additional people to do this, we are getting a tremendous number of people through this ethics training program. And again, August was a mega month. I think we did highlight this before, but we literally did crash at one point because we're having so many people coming through the program. So it is a tremendous accomplishment. I know we said this again last month, but I do want to make sure we keep recognizing it. Commissioner Thielen, your point about trying to identify agencies with boards, particularly low numbers, as well, and we have been doing that. That is part of what Benita's been doing a tremendous job of trying to really become close to the board administrators, or the people who know who are the actual people on the board, and really doing specific trainings just for them. Again, trying to develop that contact, that relationship. The reminder that went out yesterday, specific to that point, I'll give that back information on how people have taken it. So our numbers for our percentages, because we don't necessarily know, for example, for a large agency, how many employees they have, how many people rotated in and out. And so being able to take our raw numbers and be able to try to create percentages is going to be, I think, a big addition for our ability to say, how well are we doing? We have also in addition sent out reminders to every person individually who's required to take a live training, either sort of you're a high official, you're elected official. And so we're really trying to make sure we're going to have 100% completion among those. And we're really putting a lot of.
Actually, one comment is that I took the training online with the threat that if I didn't take it, I'd be kicked off the commission. So I think that's pretty good. Put that threat in there. I think I told Robert, I already took it because I teach at the university and I already took it. He said, no, you got to take it again. Oh, is there a reason on it? Why I got to take this?
You have to take, you are one of those high public officials that are required to take a live training. So you're sort of meant to class of folks.
My compensation doesn't match for my position.
You get all the praise and compliments of staff here.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Bonita, keep it up. Thanks. Next.
Shifting to Keith on our statistics.
Yeah, so in terms of the enforcement statistics, similar thing as last month, pretty routine month, and we continue to close more cases than we bring in. So we're working on closing those older cases, and that's been effective.
That's good. One comment I have, I'm glad when I look at the statistics, we don't have any, how would you say, old cases. We're pretty much, I think within 2 years, we're pretty much taking care of any of those complaints. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, that's a fair statement. There were several complaints that were in the 2021 range, and we have worked hard to close all those out. So if there's any, it's a very small number. Yeah, that's
very good. The only one I think that hopefully will be over before my tenure is the Kana case, but I'm not holding my breath. Any questions from the commissioners? Any commission? None? Any questions from the public? Okay.
If you don't mind, just a brief update on the miscellaneous office projects and updates. We have largely moved out of this office that we're currently in, which is Office 970. And essentially all the personnel are now stationed in Suite 900, while essentially we've moved all electronics and personal items still in the process. We have by the end of the month to complete our move before the movers come in and actually take all the furniture and boxes and move it over. So at the end of the month, we'll be fully out of this office, and it will be renovated over the next 2.5 months, with the end goal of being back in here in December. So we have been navigating the challenge, and I have to really give the staff incredible compliments and kudos on sort of helping navigate that, getting our internet, our phone system all back up in Suite 900, within the day. I think, relatively speaking, minor, if no impact to our ability to operate and respond to public questions and so on.
So our next meeting will be in
Next
room
meeting will be in Suite 900.
900. Okay, don't come here.
Okay. I'll find you by the elevators.
In addition, I do just want to give a general update that we are working on legislative recommendations. So the hope will be potentially getting your first draft of that to you in the next 2 months, probably with the primary focus in November, with the idea of having final draft or final package ready for a December review. I anticipate the December meeting will be relatively short, recognizing it's a time period, but we do want to make sure we get the legislative package approved. We can get it to the legislature.
Okay. Yeah, any questions from the commissioners? How about the public? If not, it's okay. We'll go to item number 3, overview of ethics, Hawaiʻi conference. Excuse me.
Terrific. I think in part, my hope was to do a very short summary, but then sort of allow the commissioners and the public to give any feedback that they want to provide. I do think it was a tremendously successful Ethics in Hawaiʻi conference on September 1st, done jointly with the Honolulu Ethics Commission, and very much appreciate all of the hard work that everyone put into making it happen. We do have in the agenda, we have 3 attachments. One is the program, second is the survey, and then third is the survey results. I think just, again, I think they do stand for themselves. I won't necessarily go through in detail, but I do think in general, there was a lot of very positive feedback. And then I think there's some specific recommendations that we can take to heart. So, I mean, again, I think I will pause and invite discussion, but I also would really invite discussion on sort of where to take it from here. My tentative thoughts in reviewing it is really looking at trying to host some online, much like Kogel has regular updates, about trying to do some type of online update in order to be able to provide information that's useful, helpful, but also going to continue the ability to collaborate on it. So I will pause there and
Well, actually, let me just say that I want to congratulate Robert and the staff, and also the Honolulu Commission and their staff for doing an excellent job. Just looking at the feedback, I noticed that everything was marked as excellent or good. And for me, who teaches, that's pretty good, excellent, good. It's more than a pass. And the only ones that were fair or needs improvement, you got some picky eaters around here, but it was the food. I guess nobody likes hamburgers. God, you know what? My recommendation next time, give them a spam musubi, I'd be happy. But anyway, just a food for thought. Okay, I mean, I thought these were great gourmet hamburgers, and the other one was, I believe, group discussion during lunch. Well, when I'm eating, I don't know if I'm going to talk. And then the other one was, of course, maybe, well, I won't mention about the mayor. We should maybe tell them, say hello and goodbye, something like that. Other than that, the overall rating was good. I got a question, and I don't know if it's appropriate right now, but at the very end of the group discussion with the commissioners, I asked the question, how often do you think we should have this? And of course, the Outer Islands says every year. And I said, well, who's going to fund it? And they said, the state, of course. And I go, whoa, wait a minute. So anyway, I don't know. Is it appropriate for me to ask the commissioners what their thoughts are? I mean, it was very beneficial, I think, to the Outer Island commissions, because they're really lacking in staff, unlike Honolulu and the state. Comments, Commissioner McCarthy, yeah, you were there, and thank you for joining us.
I think you're on mute.
Harry, you gotta unmute yourself.
Okay. I was only able to participate in the first half of the conference because Zoom only carried that. But as to your question, your comment, Wesley, I would concur that I think annual meetings would be very beneficial. I think this is the first one that had been done in some time. And I think the value that was gotten out of it by meeting of the various ethics commissions is shown in the comments in the survey. So I think it'll be very, very beneficial. As to the funding, I don't know about that. Wesley, you have a better sense of that. But I think if we could persuade the state that what the value of this is, once a year would be appropriate. I think, although I did not, as I say, attend the second half, I talked to Bev a little bit about this. I think those roundtable discussions with other ethics commissions will be very, very valuable, just to exchange ideas and to see what their needs are and what our needs are and how we can help each other. That's why I think at the very least, an annual meeting dealing with ethics issues across the islands would be very, very beneficial to the commissions as well as to the public.
Thank you. Commissioner Tobias. And thank you for being one of the co-facilitators, I guess. And you were actually at that roundtable, yeah.
Commissioner Tobias, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Got it. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. One of the things that I thought about with the annual meeting with the other commissioners from outer islands, I want to say out of state, and that's not what I mean. But in any event, I think that annually would be fine, but budgetarily, I think that we could look at every other year, because I think given every other year, you would have a chance to see whether or not your comments and your statements of how they're doing and what's going on would be more relevant. They'd have a little time to not only get the information, but plan and execute the information. So I think every other year would be good. But for right now, I agree with Harry that annually would probably be really good in terms of getting folks up to speed, in terms of their staffing, in terms of their comments to their different counties. And so that would, I think, be really helpful for them.
Thank you, Commissioner Tobias. How about Commissioner Healy?
I'm just thinking if there are even more educational sessions that we could hold and how that could work without having to do an overnight. The overnight would just skyrocket the cost because of neighbor island participants. But I would like to get more in depth in some of the sessions. And I'm just not quite sure how to do that.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to also thank all the commissioners. We had 100% participation. Harry, you missed my introduction of you. It was glowing. Yeah, my thought is, yeah, we can afford going annually, fine, but if not, physically, I think every other year would be good. Again, it really depends on the funding, and I'm gonna leave that up to the staff. And I'm gonna, if it's unless there are objections, I would rather have the staff give us a recommendation. Should it be annual, or can it be annual, or every other year? But before I leave that, I want to ask if I can, our co-sponsor, although she's not officially representing our co-sponsor, do you have any comments, Laurie?
You know, can you hear me?
Yes.
I also wanted to acknowledge that Commissioner Ricky Amano joined us right when this agenda item started. So she's here too. Just wanted to put that out
Oh.
there. I don't know if you can you see her on your screen?
Yes. we
Oh,
can.
okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great.
Welcome.
So yeah, not speaking in my official capacity, for the agency or anything, but it was so I was there. I was present for the first time we had the commission, the conference, and having it again, especially after COVID. I mean, it was just such a welcome sight to have everyone there, and the collegiality, the commiseration, everything. You could just feel the energy in the room. And yeah, it is too bad that we couldn't do have it more frequently or longer, due to budgetary constraints. And thank you very much to State Ethics for footing the bill for this. I definitely feel the need. I really want to reach out and help, especially the Maui Board of Ethics. During lunchtime, Key and I, we were at the table, and actually our table topic said ethics resources. So it's funny, in my brain, I was thinking like, Kogel. I think Key was saying NCSL, National Conference of State Legislatures, kind of like big organizations. But when we spoke to the Maui Board of Ethics folks that were sitting with us, they weren't even thinking nationwide. They were thinking, staffing, just very basics, because where they are now is where we were at back in the 80s, just building their staff, just getting their independence. So I actually reached out later to Commissioner / Captain Lilly and provided him with some information, because I had to do some legislative history on our own commission, how we came to be to where we are. So I asked him, please share it with the rest of the board, so that they can kind of get a head start. But it was a real eye opener to see, like, that's where they're at. They're not even at the Kogel stage at all. That's the Conference on Governmental Ethics Laws. That's like our international organization, where we go to a conference every year. I do like that idea. I think Robert mentioned it, where possibly we could do video or WebEx or Zoom, maybe once a quarter or once a month if possible, to share ideas and connect. Kogel kind of does the same thing. They do a Kogel Connect, so it's not just a one-time conference thing. It's kind of like a membership value, and it's a way to keep in contact throughout the year, with minimal costs. So that's another good idea. And Commissioner Thielen also brought that up. How to get more educational types of sessions involved. And I think, with Robert's idea, we could probably do something like that through these webinar type sessions. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I was thankful for the vegetarian burger option. Thank you. Those were good. Thank you.
We can have vegetarian musubi too, no problem. Thank you for your comments. I think they're good comments, especially coming from the county, because we're in a kind of a different level, state versus county, I should say. If you don't mind, I'd like to ask if Commissioner Amano has any comments. And by the way, is that snow behind you?
No,
Oh, that's an ocean.
I assume you're not talking about my hair, right?
No.
No, that's Putalu, about 50 miles out of Hilo. There are Honu right there, green-billed turtles, almost always there. Yeah.
Oh, your comments, if any?
Yeah, I am well, first of all, I would like to ask a question because I have zero knowledge about it. What did this conference cost?
Approximate cost was $2,500.
Wait,
Say that, again.
$2,500 approximately.
That's very reasonable.
That's cheap.
that's totally affordable. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think some people said that they would favor a 2-day conference. That's gonna boost the cost a lot.
Yeah.
So, I think if we keep it to 1 day, which was extremely valuable, because you folks facilitated it, directed it, you really managed the time extremely well. I can't say enough about how well this thing was run. I am a big advocate for having this every year. And the only thing I would ask the State Ethics Commission, and I'm doing it personally, not in any capacity as a commissioner, is when you make the decision, could you reach out to the other counties, including Honolulu, to see what they might be able to contribute? Because honestly, if everybody kicked in even $200 or $300 or $500, 500 would cover it. So, you know, and I hope Maui County, Hawaii County, Kauai as well would see the value in having that. Now, Kauai is smaller, so maybe half of what the others contribute, but I think as you make your decision, I hope you're not feeling like you're carrying the whole burden yourself, because I don't think that has to happen. Everybody gets value. And the reason I'm an advocate for this to be done annually for now is, you know, if one of our agencies or commissions screws up, it's on everybody. They're not going to know it's Hawaii County versus Maui County, or, you know, it's better that we are together and hoping to improve the quality of what we deliver, have consistency. And I think one of the ways is to do this annual. And yes, we're different right now, but in a few years we're going to be a lot more similar, I think. So I'm kind of, and you know, I think if we do this annually too, and also ask that everybody put a little skin in the game, I really think that they will get the support from their funders, just as Honolulu County got support. That's pretty recent, actually. It wasn't always there. And, you know, we struggled with, well, is it because, you know, we've had quite a few defendants who are council members? We don't know, but it doesn't matter. We have to do what's right. But for some reason, there's a big turnaround, and, you know, we were even able to get was it ordinance, Lori, or whatever? You know, a law change. That's a big deal.
Charter amendments.
Yeah, that's really big. And who knows, you know, maybe the other counties can do that as well. And all of this, I mean, I've been here 9 years, and but I would say the money part came in just in the last 5. So who knows in 5 years that, you know, Maui County will be as robust as we are, maybe not as big, but certainly able to do the things we are able to do, such as education, and, you know, we can share resources, etc. I mean, I also support the idea of having some regularity, some regular contacts. It doesn't even have to be monthly, because I know these things take effort. But if it's possible, we could rotate it, the responsibilities, do it by Zoom, of course, or WebEx, whichever you got. But I really think that working together is going to be very important going forward. And it's important now. So we just have to help everybody get, you know, up to speed, including ourselves.
Thank you. And to me, it's, you know, what affects the counties affects the state. We're all part of the state. And I appreciate your comments. And on my 9 years you've been on the commission, Commissioner?
Yes.
Yeah. And
yes.
This is your last year.
Hallelujah.
Well, as we say in the military, thank you for your service, and of course you're gonna continue. I mean, you have to have a 1-year hiatus, and then you come back, or you're gonna go back to Hilo? Is that it? No.
No. our children and grandchildren are all on Oahu. So,
Oh,
but we still have our home in Hilo. And
Okay.
so, you know, but I think I need to go into my fourth retirement.
Commissioner Thielen.
Thank you. My former football mate at the law
Yes.
school,
Yes.
Commissioner Ricky.
Yep.
Anyway, she was a fantastic player. What do you think about the idea of every other year having just in-depth workshops on different subjects that would help the different commissions? And then the alternate year, inviting people such as the governor, the US attorney, that sort of thing, to speak to us at the beginning part, but alternate year, just getting right down to work and having staff work out together what different subject areas would be the biggest help to the different commissions.
Do you want her to respond to that?
Sure, if you would.
Commissioner Amano, you want to respond to that? Guess not.
I would support anything. If that sounds great. That sounds great to me. Anything we can do together, and you know, these ethics issues continue to evolve. For
Oh,
instance,
yeah.
I think you folks are all aware of the New York situation where I think it was a state ethics commission or whatever. I'm not sure what the format is, but they tried to find, is it Governor Cuomo at the time? And take all of his royalties from some book he wrote. And that went to court, and looks like they quashed the ethics commission because it was too political. I mean, you know, those kinds of things are going to happen. And I don't know, I've been around for a bit, but I never really could define ethics. I mean, it's just something you know is not right, you know? How can anybody taking a bribe know it's
The bribe?
yeah, the bribes are pretty obvious to me, but you know, we know from the time we're like 5 years old, you better not take something that doesn't belong to you. So, and you know, be honest and all those things. I mean, that to me is really the essence of what we do, but try to define it like in a legal way, very difficult. And so we sort of struggle with it. I think we chew around the edges and, you know, get to where we need to go. But it would be nice if we all did it together. And it's not only going to be this, it's what about our US Supreme Court? You know, they don't have any rules. It's so
Yeah, let's, I'm gonna, yeah, thank you for your comments. All,
yeah,
I
sorry.
think all these, yeah, thank you. I think all these comments and these suggestions are very good. The bottom line is, you can remember, being military, it's easy for the guy on the top saying, you know, give him an order. But it's the guys on the bottom, and actually our staff is going to be the one tasked with this. So with all these suggestions and recommendations, you know, I like to hear from the staff, not now, later, and evaluate all of the comments that were made. And to answer your question, Commissioner Amano, I teach ethics at the university. And I tell them, if it looks like a cow, it smells like a cow, and it walks like a cow, it's a bribery. I don't care what you say. But anyway, is that okay, Robert? You take it back? I appreciate all your comments. Anybody else want to say anything before we move on? Okay, if not, Robert.
Again, I'll just reemphasize, thank you for all the comments and the input. Obviously, I'll take away the enthusiasm for more. But I think the product of what more is, maybe we'll come back and sort of try to figure out. And again, I am highly enthusiastic about trying to do some online directed specific topics. Again, how Kogel handled it, I really didn't really explain that very well, is they will have sort of directed conversations about certain things. And there may be some level of, here's an update of what's happening regionally in Western and Eastern regions, and they'll sort of kind of do quick updates of what's happening. Or in the alternative, it can be around a specific topic. Let's really dig into education, for example, and do some more of a training. And from a capacity perspective, Well, fiscally, it's cheaper to do that, obviously. There's no travel involved, but from overall capacity, it's just a lot easier on the staff. Again, putting these types of events on, I'm sure Lori will agree, and Caroline, who's not on here, I mean, it's just a lot of work. And that takes away from other things that are going on. So there's definitely trade-offs that happen, which is, do we continue to get this case done in a timely fashion, or do we put it on the side and put on the conference? And so that's the type of evaluation I think that also goes into it. We obviously would all like to have more of these things, which is also try to make it happen.
Yeah, and then please tell Caroline that hamburgers are fine. She put a lot of effort on that, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So again,
Well,
next conference, spam musubi.
well,
I'll take my friend Eddie Flores and he'll donate it from LNL. I'm just joking. Next.
So jumping into the next topic, that's okay. We can
Go ahead.
go into the discussion of ethics oversight over the judicial branch. And I'll probably ask Jennifer if she has anything to update on this, but just very succinctly, we have reached out to the judicial branch. They have responded promptly and enthusiastically about meeting to discuss recommendations. We've heated up as more of a opportunity for us to learn more about what's going in, happening, and we have agreed to write up a list of questions at a time for that meeting, the details of which still need to be set up. So, we're progressing, and I think I've tried to establish that this is intended to be a collaborative, opportunity to learn and sort of see if there's an opportunity for improvement, as with everything needs improvement.
Well, let me say that I'm glad to hear that they're receptive, because I was the one who initiated it. And, they're gonna disbar me, they're gonna disbar all of us. I don't practice anymore, but I'm glad they are receptive to it. I mean,
Quite different from the US.
we won't go into that.
So with respect to the public members, Chair Fong initiated this idea, which is, again, looking at what's happening at the US Supreme Court level, trying to just have a conversation about, are there any improvements we need to do at the state level, specific to the judiciary, recognizing that under our statutes, there are provisions that are expressly given to them. We do oversee judiciary employees, but we do not oversee the judges and justices. So the intent is to just try to have an opportunity to have a dialogue and see if any recommendations can come out of that will help ensure greater public confidence, particularly in light of what's happening at the national level.
Okay, next. Are we finished? Any questions? Any comments from the commissioners? Any comments or questions from the public? Okay, item number 5. My God, again. Just for you folks who are not on this commission, the Akana case began when I started my first year tenure here. That was 5 years ago, 6, 7, I lost track. But anyway, it's still ongoing. And that was one of our first 1 out of 3 for the history of the Ethics Commission, a full trial, full on trial.
Fantastic case.
Yeah, and it took us a week, but now it's on appeal and it's still on appeal. So with that,
there are no updates on the Akana matter.
Any questions or comments by the commissioners? How about the public? All right, stay tuned. That's about all I can say. Let's see. I think that's about it, right? Any other business to be transacted? That's not on the agenda that anyone want to say anything? Any last minute announcements? Okay, if not, I want to thank Laurie and Commissioner Amano for joining us this morning. And if there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Well, don't all yell at one time. Is that Commissioner McCarthy? Did you make that motion to adjourn?
No, it was me.
Oh, it was Commissioner Tobias. There a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Thielen. Any objections? All in favor of adjourning? Roll call.
Vice Chair McCarthy. I think you are on mute. If you're unable to mute, just give us a thumbs up.
So again, aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Tobias,
Aye.
Commissioner Thielen,
Aye.
Chair.
See no objections. I say aye. Motion is carried. The meeting is now adjourned. It is now
47.
9:47. Thank you, everybody. We'll take a 10-minute break before the adjudication.